welcome back to my channel and to another eye focus tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get the perfect fox eyeliner like smoky look. So if you want to see how I get this look, then just make sure to keep on watching. Definitely subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell. That way you get notified anytime that I make a new upload. So let's go ahead and jump into today's eye focus tutorial. So anytime that I'm doing a smoky anything when it comes to the eyes, I like to use a base. Whether it's like a liner or an eyeshadow base, a cream, eyeshadow, whatever, I always like to use like a base. I feel like it just makes the whole entire like blending process go a lot faster because you have like a dark base to kind of, you know, be a base for everything. So I'm going to be using the BH Cosmetics Power Pencil, and this one is in shade brown. I use the beige one a lot on my channel. You guys have probably seen that a gazillion times. This is warm brown, actually. The name is warm brown, sorry, not just brown. I'm going to use this as my base for this fox eyeliner that we're going to do. This is going to be like a fox eyeliner look, but just like a smokier version of it. So that's the reason why I'm going to be using this liner as a base for everything. So I'm going to start off in the outer corner here. And I'm gradually going to pull this outward into a wing. I'm going to save the inner corner for last. I'm pretty much just going to focus on the outer portion of this eye look first, and then I'll go ahead and show you guys how I do the inner corner. And as I get closer to the end of the wing, I'm gonna keep it pretty neat. This part, I'm not too worried about it being messy, but I do want this particular, like the end of the wing, to be kind of on the neater side. So I'm gonna try to make it as like, you know, pointy as possible with this pencil. The next thing that I want to do is smudge this out, especially the top of the liner. So I'm going to go in with this smudgy brush. This is a Morphe M213. I'm not sure if this particular brush is available still because this brush is like, I can't even tell you how old this brush is. It's literally like years old, like at least 5, like the very least is 5 years. So I'm not entirely sure if they still have this particular brush. I'm actually surprised that it even has like the writing still on it, because a lot of my older brushes don't even have like names on them through anymore. Like the paint just like totally rubbed off over the years, and you know, it's a mess. So I'm just gonna very gently blend out the edge of this liner, and as I get closer to the end of the wing, I'm going to continue to pull the wing outward. I'm not going to smudge or, you know, worry too much about the lower lash line, like over here, because I kind of want that to be like clean. So I'm just focusing more so on the top of the liner. So now that we have our base down, we can go ahead and start adding our shadows. I'm using the shade Cinnamon from the Be Perfect x Stacey Marie palette. I know my brush is dirty. It's because I had a green eyeshadow on here from a previous video that I was recording, and I just like wiped the brush off on a paper towel, but it's like still stained from the eyeshadow. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that there is a warm toned brown on this brush. And we're going to use this to blend out the edges of our liner. Then taking the shade Fawn here, I'm going to apply that on top of Cinnamon to blend out the edges of our previous shadow. Then taking a little bit of Fawn, I'm going to go ahead and use that to blend out the edges of Cinnamon. And I'm using a Morphe M507 to apply this. So I am going to add a little bit of shadow on the inner portion of the lid here. I'm using the shade Stone, and this is a Makeup Addiction angled shadow brush. I'm going to use a small amount of that shadow and just buff it into the inner portion of the lid space. Then to deepen up the actual lash line, I'm gonna go in with the shade Chestnut and apply that directly on top of that liner that we applied beforehand. Once I'm at this stage, I'll just go back in with like my 3 shadows and just give them a little bit of extra love in between to make sure that, you know, none of them are getting like lost in the blending process. Good, yes, okay. So I am gonna use a little bit of shadow on the lower lash line here. I'm pretty much gonna go in with just cinnamon and fawn and apply those onto the lower lash line. And now it's time to do our inner corner wing. So the easiest way to do this is with an eyeshadow. You can also use a liquid liner, like a brown one, if you're going for like this particular like brown, smoky type of look. You can also use black. It's kind of dependent on like what kind of look you're going for, but I'm gonna show you guys how I do like a fox eyeliner using some eyeshadow because it's like the easiest way to get the look. I'm going back in with the shade Chestnut from the Antidote palette from Be Perfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie, and I'm gonna use an angled brush. This one is from Playing in Makeup by Yolando, and it's her B14X brush. Then I'll define the shape from there. And I'm literally just gonna keep doing this until I have like my desired, like, you know, like liner look. So we're going in with a little bit of shadow at a time, nothing too crazy. We're just gonna slowly build the liner from there. So usually when I'm doing a fox eye, like, or inner corner wing, I like to follow the, my upper lash line. I kind of like my liner to look like an extension of my lash line. So I'm pretty much following this line up here. I know some people follow like their lower lash line, but I like to follow like the top. That's just my personal preference, and like I feel that's just my personal preference and what I feel looks most flattering for my eye shape. But you can honestly like use whatever technique or like, you know, whatever works best for you. I just noticed that I prefer my liner. I feel like it looks more flattering on my eye when I follow the upper lash line. So now switching over to a liquid liner, I'm going to be using the M Cosmetics. This is the illustrative eyeliner pen in shade brown. Is it brown? Yeah, shade brown. This is like a brush tip eyeliner, which is the reason why I love this eyeliner so much. I love brush tip eyeliners. I definitely prefer them over felt tip ones. Don't get me wrong, I have some amazing felt tip eyeliners, but I usually prefer like the brush tip ones. But this one is in shade brown. It's gonna go perfectly with this look here. I'm just going to use this to further define the shape of the inner corner, as well as, you know, give a little bit of extra definition to the liner on the outside portion of the eye. So I'm going to finish up the lower lash line with a little bit of liner. I'm using the Beige Cosmetics Power Pencil in the shade beige. I mentioned that I use this a lot, and it's because I really do. I literally use this eyeliner all the time. It's like a favorite of mine. And then for mascara, I'm going to be using Lancome's Miss Your Big Mascara. And for lashes, I'm gonna be using these little cuties here. They're in the style Brooklyn. They're from Six Beauty. And yeah, I'm gonna use a little eyelash applicator to apply them. I already have them like, you know, prepped right here. I'm just waiting for this little glue to dry. But I've been loving like a shorter, more kind of like natural looking lash, especially with these fox eye looks. Like if you set these correctly, like these little like short lashes look fire. But yeah, so these ones have like a little flare at the end as well. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's like shorter at the front and then longer at the end here. These lashes I love to use like for fox eyeliner looks because it kind of like further accentuates like the wing shape on the outer corner and just makes everything look super like, you know, lifted and like elevated and everything. So I definitely prefer to use like these little type of like, you know, shorter on the inside, longer on the outside type of lashes. And I'll show you guys how I sit these on my lash line as well to kind of make it, you know, give the eyes like a little bit of a lift. So when you're applying your lashes, you kind of want to sit them upright rather than like, you know, downward, if that makes sense. So what I like to do is I just prefer to like sit them like this. So I'm going to go in and just gonna plop them on like that. Adjust the corners. And then I like to push the very outer corner upward and the inner corner of the lash downward, like so. You see how that kind of like, that upward lift just makes the eye look like, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but it looks, I feel like it makes sense to me, I don't know. But I like the lift on the, having like the lash kind of like sit upright on the outer corner just gives the eye in general like that extra like lift on the outer corner. It just makes the eye look more lifted. So I just like, that's kind of like my tip for when you're applying your lashes for these types of looks. Just apply your lashes like sitting like upright. Like try to, you know, put them kind of like sit them upright, and then from there you can like push this part, like the inner part of the lash downward, so it's more level with your eye, and then that way the outer corner kind of like is more winged out. Hopefully that all makes sense, I don't know. But I'm going to use my lash applicators as well to squish my natural lashes and the actual lash together. This is gonna make sure that there's no like gap in between. I hate that gap. It literally drives me nuts when I see like skin in between like lashes here. Like I like it to be like super, super close to the lash line. So I like to go in with my lash applicator or tweezers or whatever I'm using to apply them and just like squish everything together at the base of the lash. So you see literally no skin is showing. There's nothing. It's just lash and that's it. And yeah, so this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial and were able to pick up a few tips from this video. Definitely let me know how you guys are feeling about the fox eyeliner trend. This has been like my favorite trend ever. Like, as it's weird because I feel like it's not like a trend that is like, you know, new to like the beauty space or like, you know, makeup artistry in general. I've like this eyeliner technique, like the wing on the inner corner, it's not like anything new, but I still very much like it. It's very nice. And I like the way it looks on my eyeballs. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this look down below in the comments. Hopefully you guys were able to pick up a few tips from here as well. If you have any questions about like technique wise or, you know, just like products in general, whatever would have you, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. Definitely don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, sending lots of love to you guys. Hopefully I will see you in the next one.